Hey guys, this is Kate Kennedy here for the Blitsy creative team, and I'm going to create a layout today using this awesome stencil from the Crafters Workshop, and it's called The Story. I'm also going to use this golden acrylic, heavy body acrylic paint. It's a tongue twister, and some American Crafts cardstock. So I really like to create bold graphic backgrounds, and there's tons of different ways you can do this, tons of different techniques. Some are more complicated than others. This is by far the easiest because this stencil does all the work for you. I love that it has the different combinations of things. In other words, it has things that look like paint splatter, it has an arrow, it has a little scallopy thing, it even has some words and some numbers. I am actually going to use some washi tape to cover those up because I don't want them on to distract from the title and stuff. I just don't want them on this layout. So if there's parts or sections of the stencil that you don't want, you can just cover it with washi tape or post-it tape or whatever you have on hand or a piece of paper. But you're going to see when this is done, it's all you need. It creates this really cool background. You can use all different mediums with a stencil. I like to use this golden heavy body acrylic paint because it's thicker than regular acrylic paint and it just does a really good job. I've found with these kind of intricate stencils that it applies the best when you go in the direction of whatever the pattern is. So for instance, that arrow at the top was kind of vertical, so I applied it like in a vertical way. And then when there's lines that are horizontal, I kind of run my little, what are those things called? Spatula thing there in a horizontal way, if that makes it. It keeps it from sliding underneath the stencil. That's the reason why I have all the washi tape around the edge, is to keep the stencil really secure to the paper so that it doesn't move at all, because if it moves, the paint is going to seep underneath, especially with a stencil this intricate. The heavier bodied medium you use, the less likelihood of that. I would say this is kind of like on the spectrum of things, like a medium-ish, embossing paste being like the most heavy bodied and like regular acrylic paint being the least. So if you wanted to do this and make sure it was super clean and crisp, then I would use some black embossing paste or texture paste. I just didn't have any, and if I mixed it, it would have ended up gray, and I wanted this to be black and super bold. So as you can see, I've finished applying it and I'm just taking it off, and I have one little spot that kind of ran a little bit, but I mean, I think it totally goes with the look because it's kind of messy and just really, really cool. I love the way that it looks. So I have set it aside to dry, and of course now it's dry. So I'm going to take my picture, and it's just a picture of our pool on a day that we were hanging out by the pool. And I'm using some of this Amy Tangerine Rise and Shine collection. And I'm also going to be using a paper from the Dear Lizzy Fine and Dandy. I'm using some repositionable adhesive here. Tombow is my favorite repositionable adhesive, just to hold the picture in place while I cut the mats around it. I just find that that is the easiest thing to do, and that way I can just pull it off and add some permanent adhesive when I'm ready to go. So like I said, I'm just layering up some papers. This is going to be a really simple layout because, like I said, that background does all the work for you. You really don't need a whole lot of embellishment or anything. I decided that I did want to cut it down a little bit and mount it on a pattern paper. So I'm using this one from the Dear Lizzy Fine and Dandy line. It has really cute flamingos on the other side. If you want to, you could cut the center of the background paper out so that way you could keep it for another project. I forgot to do it this time. I normally do that though. So I'm just trying to figure out how I want to orientate this. Normally I would like the arrow pointing towards the picture, but that kind of wasn't going to happen with the way that arrow is. So I'm just going to go with it. And I'm using a piece of this washi tape here from the Dear Lizzy Fine and Dandy line. And just some various embellishments. Like I said, I kept this really simple. I added this little label, but I end up taking it off. Now I'm applying some permanent adhesive to my layers and stuff so that they don't go anywhere. And I'm going to end up using a foam word thicker from Amy Tangerine. It's the one that says Seriously, and I just love those. I think they add a really bold title, and it's not like the easiest title to read just because the background is super busy. If I wanted it to be easier to read, then I would put something behind it, just like a strip of paper or something. But I really didn't mind. I thought it still turned out pretty cool. So I did add a little bit of glossy accents to the back of my photo just because that paint does have a little bit of dimension, and I wanted to make sure that that picture didn't go anywhere. So I'm going to add another word to the title here, which is going to be relaxing. So the title will be seriously relaxing. And then I'm going to add just a couple of more embellishments, some enamel dots, and a couple of things in the upper left-hand corner. And that will be it. So I really hope you have enjoyed this little process video, and I would love to know how you use your stencils. If you use them for whole backgrounds or just to create part of a background. Do you use them on plain cardstock or on pattern paper? There's just so many things you can do with them. So I would love to hear some of y'all's thoughts and ideas about them. Again, thanks so much for watching, and I will have a list of products on the corresponding blog post. And don't forget to check out Blitsy and their everyday section because you can find some really fun stuff there. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.